Want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
Life advice, the email address, you know it by now, lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. We are stacked. There's a lot to get through. We're not going to get through all of them today. A couple highlights, though. Kyle in the wild. Thank you to our man from Australia who was hoping to see Kyle at the Frolic Room. He did not. He had his wife. I think a kid was with him. But then he just happened to, either from a bus tour or across the street,
like the big
through a
red
window.
bus tour. Yeah, that's what it looked like.
It was Kyle in the wild. Drake May jersey on, outside, just taking a break from the activities on the inside. It is the best picture of Kyle I've ever seen.
You look good there. You do. It's like a white
You look
jersey,
good.
long sleeve. I'm like, damn.
But the pure happiness on his face is what really sends me. You're so happy in this picture.
It's not even really good resolution. I guess, yeah, you could see a little smirk. You're right.
It's artsy. I love it. So if you could post that for your followers, your handle again is
Tom Shady 300.
Yes, it is.
I think the red bus tour has to start just going by Frolic Room on a regular basis. So
They already
get glimpses
do
of
it.
Kyle in the wild more often.
They have a drop off get on spot right there. You know, Pantages. I don't know. Maybe Frolic's part of the equation why they do that, but probably not. So yeah, there's a little free pub for the big red bus tour.
And for fans of 311.
You're gonna post that picture? We should post that picture.
However you guys want to do it. That's
so
fine. I
people know
just
what we're
learned it
talking
exists
about.
this morning. So
No, that's what I'm saying. It's so good. It is so good. It has to be posted. And I just love, if you've ever wanted to see just joy with four limbs, this is your chance.
Just a man in his own, you know?
Yeah. So what do we got here? We got college planning follow-up. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm a certified financial planner and have some thoughts on the predicament you addressed. The 529 is after-tax money that grows tax-free. It is used for college, kind of like a Roth IRA, but for college. Some states offer a state income tax deduction for contributing. That varies state by state. In theory, putting some money in the college plan for each kid is a great idea, but it sounded like the $10K wouldn't even for all the credit card debt. Therefore, they really should pay down the debt with this cash. You can finance college at a much lower interest rate than credit card debt.
Nice.
If they insist on putting this into the college fund, then a 40-30-30 split seems fair. Yeah, he's the guy that does it for a living. So maybe you'll listen to him. But I think it's, if you're paying 20+% to carry credit card debt, you're basically paying a fee to carry debt on that number. So let's get
You
that
have the
one
privilege
down.
of having this debt.
Yeah. Like, what kind of streaming services do you have? I got a couple, and then I get this other credit card. I pay $2 a month minimum payment just to keep the balance. It's awesome. It's tough to cancel.
I feel so seen. All right, what else we got?
Do you want to give us a number, Kyle?
Let's move on. Let's move on. Kind of a yo-yo credit card debt. You know, I feel really proud, and it's like, whoa, have you seen him lately? He looks terrible. So it just goes up and down.
Do you carry a balance, or do you try to pay it full every month?
Do you carry a balance?
Yeah,
What
I
are
already
you
know the
talking
answer.
about?
Yeah. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't want to
Big balance brand. Call me BBB.
That guy's never seen a balance he's ever been scared of. He didn't give a shit. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's get to a couple emails here. This one's pretty long. Well, all right. Yeah, we'll do this one. We'll do this one first. This one isn't long, and then I'll find a long one because I flagged it. Hi, gang. 6'2", 190, no gym stats, but pickup comp is Brad Miller. I think Brad Miller threw a dip in once while he was on the bench. One of my day one A1 buddies is getting married in March. We are set to go to his bachelor party last weekend to Las Vegas. Oh, so they went. All right. Golf, gambling, partying, the whole 9 or 18.
Nice.
It's golf. We're all around 30 years old. About 15 of us are attending, flying in from different parts of the country. As we get to the San Diego airport, where about half of us are flying out of, the Bachelor announces to the group that he's gone sober and is attending AA. He said it's been a few weeks, and you could tell he wasn't totally stoked on this idea. But he tried to keep the vibes high for the trip. This is a drinking crew, so we all started with the airport beers, getting stoked for the Vegas trip. he kind of quietly announced his sobriety to everyone and just stood around while we all got started. For context, the Bachelor, this is getting a little too specific, man. All right. He has a job and he owns a place that he lives in with his fiance. He likes to enjoy beers with the fellas and a theme party here and there, but isn't boozing every day or losing life and limb from blacking out. The request definitely came from his fiance. I've known the guy for 10 plus years. I've been drinking with him, and I can honestly say he doesn't have a severe drinking problem, all caps, at all. If he has a drinking problem that requires AA, then everyone on the trip and half of America should also be in AA. The vibe of the rest of the guys on the trip was pretty perturbed, not entirely because of sobriety, but the fact he waited until we get to the airport to tell us about it. Some guys said they would not have come on the trip if they knew this because the trip became pretty expensive by the end. The fact that the leader of the trip was sober kind of put a weird tone on the whole trip and capped the amount of fun we could have. My question is, should I say something about why he shouldn't be in AA? Why couldn't he wait until after the bachelor party to start if it was that big of a deal? How old's this guy again? Said they're all around 30. That makes sense. Is there something I should say to the fiance? Would say that most, if not all, the group hasn't been very fond of his fiance since the beginning. They met and started dating about a month or two after his previous fiance died.
Oh, man.
We'll shut up and listen. Sorry for the long email. This one wasn't really that long. I think this one is about perspective and age, and I can certainly understand being in this mindset. As I'm older, I'm not going to, there's going to be some people that hate your email, man. Just a heads up. So I think whenever it comes to something like this, are you sure? Do you know? Do you socially drink with him and you're like, hey, I don't see what the big deal is. And could you maybe not have all the information? Right.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't come home surly to you at night.
Right.
I mean, maybe
it's
like he uses all his grace when it's out with the fellas. And then,
Yeah. Because a lot of these stories of somebody that feels like they need to make a change and then need help to make that change, then when they open up to you, you're like, Jesus Christ, really, dude?
Right.
And feel terrible for the person. Right. So there's a chance you have no idea what you're talking about. So I think the first thing I would is it's not your place to go to him to tell him what he needs or not to do. Sure, possibly the fiance standard of what is bad or what isn't. Well, certainly it's below your standard. It's below your friend's standard, but your buddy's marrying that person. He's not marrying you. So I would really emphasize sitting this one out. Unless you could talk to him in a way where it's like, hey, just let him go. Let him take the lead. What led to this decision? Is there any other part of it? If you're that close with him, hear how he feels about it. You just going based on your information.
Doing a lot of guessing.
Yeah.
For this. A lot of guessing.
Or immediately blaming her, being like, hey, what did she do? Why'd she make
I
me do
knew
this?
I never liked her. And this is a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Right. I think the other part is that I think because you guys are so young, you are being incredibly selfish. And I know the deal of what, dude? There was a guy that went and got help that when we were younger, we were like, what the fuck? You're not even seventh worst. You know what I mean? And it's about what that person can or cannot handle. It's not about the ranking of his dependency among your circle of friends. That's his own decision to make and how he feels about himself and the path that his life is on. It's not up to you. And the fact that it fucked up the vibes, man. I think your group, when you get a little bit older, you'll regret how selfish you guys were about this weekend. And I really it's whatever you think about what he should or shouldn't be doing, for him to have made the decision to commit to something like this and make this kind of life-changing decision.
Tell you guys at the airport, he's probably a little sick about that too.
Yeah, you're not exactly, Kyle. You're not even thinking about all of the anxiety that he has leading up to that moment. I have to tell you, I remember a good friend, and I'd reach out, and he would blow me off, and I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea how bad his drinking was. And then years and years later, he came up to me apologizing, being like, I really love you and I love hanging out. But at that time, I just couldn't be around anyone. And at this point, I would be on a sales call or sales trip, I should say. And he's like, and I would just drink a case of beer in my hotel room by myself. He's like, and I would have a blast. But it was like, I couldn't wait to go on these sales trips. And then that was the thing I was doing. He's like, it's fucking really depressing. And then you tell, somebody you care about tells you something like that. And you're like, Jesus. And again, you're making the assumption because you're thinking like, I had no idea that that's what level it was at with you. And I would never, ever feel bad. And again, that's about being a little bit older. So,
right.
look,
Like, dude, you didn't even puke in front of me ever. What are you talking about?
Right. So if I'm in my 20s and it's a close friend, like I understand your mindset, but I can only tell you as you age. And I think you just start to have a better appreciation for your friendships, and you're probably more forgiving. And the problems that you have when you're older, I think the cool thing about being older is that there's just less shit that you're like, well, I'm not worrying about that because like I have real problems now. I got to worry about who's taking care of my parents. I got to worry, you know what I mean? Like they're really impactful life problems that can be heavier, but you're just not going to get caught up in a lot of the minutia and the day-to-day bullshit that maybe you're caught up with when you're a lot younger. So look, I'm not beating up on the emailer here. I'm just saying, like, I think you guys were pretty selfish to be pretty pissed off at this guy. Even if you think, it's not really, by the way, I shouldn't even say it that way. It's not up to you to decide what he should or shouldn't be doing based on the help that he needs because of your friendship with him. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is a massive overreaction. Maybe the fiance is just hammering the guy. Maybe that's the conversation you have with this dude. Or for you guys to be sitting around being like, well, it's going to suck for us. It's selfish. And you're not even thinking about that lead up, as Kyle had hinted at, of your buddy dreading that moment of telling you guys the way to Vegas. And, if he told you earlier, half of you guys would have canceled. Well, that would have cheered him up. I mean, think about him for a second here.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a long answer. Sorry, Kyle.
The other thing about like a bachelor party, and I don't know, maybe this is different for women. I didn't feel like the star of my bachelor party for more than like, I don't know, 5% of the time. It was like a lot of these guys, they got together, they put, they took time off of work and they spent a bunch of money to get down to Ocean City and all that stuff. Like it really wasn't like, I wasn't the main focus more than like, a very small percentage of each day. And there was like, 2 days, it wasn't like he didn't ask you like, hey man, if for my sobriety it'd be really nice if we could just not have any booze in the house or anything. Like they didn't say that. You were just having an issue with him standing while you guys were all deciding what shots you were going to take. And there was an age when I think I wouldn't have dealt with this information very well either. But I mean, maybe what you could have done is be like, all right, we'll see if this airport Chili's bar has a fucking Guinness 0.0. Like maybe like instead of being like, well, this kind of sucks now, you'd be like, all right, how do we get him involved? And it's not like he asked you not to drink. He's not like, hey, just so you know, for the wedding, no wine, no beer. Like he didn't do any of that stuff. You just have it in your head that like, Mike's not having as much fun as I thought he would have. But I mean, again, like bachelor parties aren't just for Mike. They're like, it's about the whole group. So I think it's good that you didn't say anything, especially if you're a part of that trip, you're probably a part of that wedding. And if one of his guys is like against him, talking about like, dude, look what she's doing to you. Like, I mean, it's good that you kept that stuff inside. These are all just feelings you're talking about. You didn't have like a group meeting Survivor style talking about how this is all fucked up at the trip. But yeah, I think this stuff comes with age.
The other thing too is like there's kind of like a weird balance of like how much do you bring it up on the trip, and obviously the trip already happened, so I'm not giving you advice for this, but like, do we talk to him about it? Does he want to not talk about it? Like at some point you should, you said you're a day one friend, like this is your guy, like you should find out what's up and don't be accusatory. Don't bring up that you think this is the fiance situation, but just like, hey, what's going on with you? Like I didn't know what was going on. Like fill me in, because I will say like I have I've got a group. High school guys, like we're all close. Group chat is bumping every single day. We talk all the time. But like there are times when I'll find out like sensitive things through our wives, or my wife might find out something because somebody else told them, and I'm like, I had no idea he was going through that. That's kind of nuts. That happens like way too often. Like dudes, I think, are just bad at sharing feelings like that. So just to reiterate, like it's very, very easy that he would have just been hiding this from you guys, or you wouldn't have seen this side of him. So like, to just automatically be like, oh, she's doing this, or this is like a thing that he doesn't want to do. That's a slippery slope, man. I think you got to support him and just, I would talk to him about it and let him talk to you as much as he wants to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Nothing else to add to that one. All right. Next email. This one is the long one, I think. but we'll go with it. Because sometimes you guys write in ones and they'll be like, "Sorry, this is long." I'm like, "That's not long."
Seems
Like some of them
most
are
times,
just yeah.
when they
Some
have
you're
sort of
right.
like sorry in
Yeah.
advance. It's always like, oh, it's the guys that aren't thinking about it. Those are the
Yeah.
ones that tend to be long.
It's the less self-aware ones that write these books, and there's just some that you'll read and you'll go, "This is just too long. It's too long." All right. Anyway, hey Ryan, Kenneth Garai voice. Oh, there you go. What's up? 61215, former college athlete, NBA compass Tobias Harris, going to get you 15 a night. Nothing spectacular. Knows the role of feeding the better players as age increases, but the longevity to always be slightly above average and welcome on any team he ends up on. Are you also invisible? What's that word? Yeah.
Watch that.
I know. Whatever. Early start today. I have been a regular listener and fan since the early SVP and Russillo days, all the way back to Out of Rotation Shirt Day, Pulse of the Nation, no shirt for the guy who called in asking a question about Stephen Curry instead of Steph Curry. I've always seen a little of myself in you as far as life path, outlook on things, love of sports. Whoa. So you're extremely confident, but also self-deprecating. Really value the feedback you give during Life Advice segment and would truly appreciate some here. My story is as follows. I'm 36 years old, live and work in the same large city in Indiana that I was born and raised in. I'm single, never been married, don't have children. Again, 36. I've struggled with depression at times in my life, often feeling that I am accomplishing just the average amount of daily success and eking out the most average Midwest lifestyle that you were picturing in your head. In September of 23, I was going through a particularly unsettling time in my mental health when, through a stroke of chance, I'd ended up reconnecting with a high school sweetheart who had ended up moving back in our hometown. Let's call her Laura. Laura is a legitimate knockout, tall, blonde, just absolutely gorgeous on paper. I feel like she's out of my league. Typical SEC couple, as the kids say. Laura had a child in 2019 where she was living at the time with a man she was casually seeing. Then tried to turn that into a relationship, which ultimately failed, feeling alone and the single mom life settling in. She moved back here to be closer to family, is ultimately in line to take over a family business. The father of the child, let's call him Derek, also decided to move here knowing absolutely no one except Laura and his son that they share together. They do not live together, but he's around like a lot. Laura and I began texting regularly, progressing into the natural meetup for dinner and drinks. We began dating soon after. It was extremely intense and fast at first. At that point, I was at in life with the clock ticking. I felt like I'd finally re-met the person I was supposed to meet. I can admit now with more clarity that there were some incompatibilities from the get-go, such as family wealth dynamics, her disinterest in sports, her love of skiing and skydiving, while I mostly am happy with a bottle of bourbon, pizza, and an NFL Red Zone on my TV on a Sunday. But the attraction and the way she made me feel loved and valued, and that I was saving her as the person she had always wanted but didn't know she needed, trumped all of the early red flags. How about that? That's like a Netflix special. The person I always wanted but didn't know I needed. Fast forward to February of 24. Here we go. Buckle up, boys. As I was ready to progress to the next step in our relationship, as far as making sure we're on the same page, being exclusive to each other and each other only. Wait, so if you guys started hanging out in September 23, oh yeah, it's only a few months there. Yeah, all right, we're good. Because I would have thought I'd been like, so you hung out for a year and then you're like, all right,
What are we?
here's the deal. Right. No, but this makes sense, especially if you're going dinner, drinks, text, the whole thing. Like, it's probably a quick turnaround on this one. In February 24 is like, what's the deal? This, of course, meant the boundaries would have to be put in place in the relationship with Derek and how freely he comes and goes from her house as he wishes, acts as if they are together when he feels like it. He's very possessive over her, including at one point forcing his way into her home in the middle of the night as her and I were falling asleep on the couch downstairs. That's a tough scene. From all accounts, he's a good dad, also treats her incredibly poorly, yet my gut tells me there's still something there between them. As any times I had concerns about his unchecked access to her, I was met with, quote, it's best for the child. Hard to push back on that, but there's 100% a difference between co-parenting and Derek trying to be with her at all costs. When it got to the point of me being clear and blunt about my expectations of not only her and I going forward, but also Derek, she began to withdraw from me almost immediately, going from being in touch all day, every day, and spending as much time as possible together to days to respond to a text. That's the first sign, boys and girls.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much all the information that you need. If somebody's just not going to respond to you, that's kind of it. and foregoing plans to see each other, ultimately leading to completely ghosting me by March of 24 without much as an explanation. I pursued hard, not understanding what had happened, which led to a withdrawal even more, to the point where I just gave up completely, left to my own thoughts on what happened, and honestly heartbroken. Months later, she reached out in a text. She claimed she was supposed to be sent to her mother and not me, in which she was telling her mother that she'd come home in a few hours after spending the night with a different ex in Chicago the night before. When I called her out on the text being for the wrong guy, she immediately followed up with a text with a long apology to me about how she handled things at the end of the relationship and how I shouldn't have been so concerned about how things were being with Derek, since, see, the door is closed, since I was obviously at Drew's place, as if that was supposed to make me feel better. That is perhaps one of the shittiest ways you could ever explain that. Like, hey, I wasn't even with my ex-husband because I was with that dude in Chicago. Don't you get it? Oh, now I feel better. Back to the email. A line about you were the only man who's ever stuck with me and loved me when I didn't deserve it. Struck a chord with me and made it 100 times harder to let go. She's just completely mind fucking you, buddy. Yeah. So I know that's like a really good line, and she should write for Succession season 4, but she's just totally fucking with your head because she gets to without any recourse. We still got a few more lines here. I ignored her, however, on that particular instance. Random little texts between the both of us followed, with months of silence in between, ultimately leading nowhere. We haven't spoken in months. When she reached out this past weekend to send me a picture of a game she was at, since it was my team, I guess he played there, to tell me, you're so right about this place. It is awesome. Drew is also a graduate from the same school, and based on the seats they had, that's 100% who she was there with. I have not responded to her attempt, in my opinion, to get a reaction out of me.
Nice.
Like the text that was supposed to go to her mother, but has resurfaced the feelings I had for her, anger combined with some stupid reason still wanting her. After all of this above and writing it down, I know how obvious it is that I need to completely let her go, but the deepest part of my heart, for whatever reason, I still hope that the woman I met and was there for the first few months, she's capable of it the best way possible. Any concrete advice from you guys, and the best way to proceed from here would be welcome. I know what she's caused me to feel, but I can't get rid of that last little bit of what if when it comes to Laura, and I just don't know why. Thanks for everything. All right. You already know the answer, buddy.
Success is the best revenge, and just relish in the moment the next time she reaches out and you've got nothing for her. And it's still, you'll still get the thing of like, she really likes me, man. It's like I think we did this last episode. It's nice to be liked. That's the best. That's the best when they come back and you're like, no, it's still like a thumbs up reaction to the text or not, something to let you know you saw it. That's going to be really cool. That's going to feel great. But yeah, there's too much fuckery going on here. And I was originally gonna be like, this is why, some guys aren't super into dating a woman with a kid, a connection to another man who comes and goes. But then it just got so much
That's
worse.
not what it is.
He's not even the problem.
So much worse.
He's not even the problem.
So yeah, this is just,
she's not even with that guy anymore.
Yeah. What are you, stupid?
Yeah, I know. You dummy.
Yeah, it's just gonna be great when she reaches out again. So just look forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, this just goes back to, remember what was the email that we had on Monday about the 37-year-old guy who was like dating, who was just crushing it and want to like be honest. And this is like
boy band ass.
Yeah, this is kind of the opposite of that. Like she doesn't really she wants to kind of keep you on the string to keep you, but she doesn't really want to date you, and that sucks, man. Like guy or girl, like I just don't like that. And especially when you're, this guy. What do you say? He's 36, so he's in the same age range. Like if somebody's doing that to you, that blows. So. Yeah, all the red flags are there. Like, the answer, as you guys said. You know how this has to end. It just sucks because you probably had a couple good months. She's cute and you got attached, but it just sounds like that. Like even if things were to work out and she comes back to you and says, "Oh yeah, no, everything's great. Like you're the one I want to be with." Like I just don't know that I would ever trust that ever. I think you just got cold turkey, and as Kyle said, just enjoy the wins. As clearly she still thinks about you, so at least you have that kind of over her.
Yeah, it started at like a Hallmark movie where like a hotshot, beautiful lawyer comes back to the town. Yeah, it's like, I'm just
Sweet Home Alabama,
getting my mom figured out. She's got stuff going on, and then it turns into like Succession. It's like Shiv, just fucking just ruining Tom's life. So sorry about that, man.
Yeah, the hottest girl on your resume is a bit like the best vacation, because you're thinking like, is this possible? Like, am I this guy? You're walking around Saint-Tropez being like, could I do this? I know this isn't bocce, but
this is my life.
Could I get a set? Like, and then you go on Zillow and you're like, that's I think it's a 1-bedroom. What is that, a shed? And then you're like, I don't even know what customs would be. Like, could I ship my stuff here? It's like, do I need to learn the language? And the ultimate answer is like, you probably can't just pack up and move to Saint Tropez. Like, it was a nice vacation. You really enjoyed yourself. It's an experience you're never going to forget. But it's probably not who you are. And I'm not saying this to the emailer, like, you're never going to get somebody above your pay grade again. But the hottest woman on your resume is always tough. I've got one friend that emails about this one for fucking years. Like, he never stops bringing it up. And you're like, yeah, dude, she was really hot, man. Awesome story. I've heard it 700 times. But it's because he probably still can't believe it deep down. So that's part of the dilemma with all of this. And again, you already know that because you explained it all. But what you are dealing with here is a massive narcissist, okay? Somebody that is totally comfortable fucking with you for whatever she needs in that moment. And when she came home with a disruption to her own life, and disruption, again, in a way that makes sense, like, okay, I didn't have a kid. Now I have a kid. Now I have responsibilities that I've never had before. But because I'm going to co-parent here, the ex is going to be around. Who knows what's going on there? Who knows?
Maybe Derek wasn't even the bad guy in the situation. Maybe Derek was.
Maybe you and Derek hang out.
You found a friend.
You're not even the special guy that she fucks with sometimes because he's nice. You're probably one of a roster. So
yeah, right. If you
not
feel bad enough
she just
already,
got this thing for me. If she ever gets it's like, no, dude. There's several of you, probably.
She came home and you were safe, and she picked it right up, and you were, unfortunately, like, she looked at you as like, okay, this is what I need, and now this guy with the great seats with a little bit more coin is what she thinks she deserves now. So, I think what you probably need to do is a bit of a Johnny Torch here and just go, next time you reach out, be like, hey, fuck off. I don't need this. It's going to feel so good. Yeah. It's going to feel so good. And I think it's exactly what you need. And it's a little harsh, but I think based on the email that you sent us, it's probably deserving of that one. I mean, the fact that she'd be like, hey, just because I sent you the wrong text as I was with this guy last night, but it's a different guy, proves all of your concerns about my ex are wrong. Like, that's some unbelievable wizardry going on right there. So yeah, I think you're going to feel really good, even if that's the crazy thing is, dude, is if you actually did that, she'd probably want you back for a little while. So, there you go. You could always go to Saint Tropez twice. That'll do it for us. Cerruti, Oregon, Kyle, thanks for listening to the podcast, a special edition on Tuesday. We'll be back on Friday, but we have a children's only edition on Wednesday. What does that mean? What are people saying in the streets talking about it? Don't worry about it. It's only for kids. So if you're older, can't listen. But please subscribe still and check us out on YouTube. Ryen Russillo, Ringer, Spotify.